everyone, Nicholas here from Crippled Tech, and welcome back to another Tech Explained video. And today's topic is going to be about the brain of a PC, which is the CPU or Central Processing Unit, also commonly referred to in the PC market as a processor. Just a disclaimer, this is not a bias guide to how to choose your CPU for your PC. This is an explainer of what a CPU is. A bias guide for CPU it warrants another videos. So what exactly makes up a CPU? A CPU is a small rectangular chip that is placed on the motherboard. It is packed with millions or even billions of tiny transistors. These transistors act like switches that turn on and off, allowing CPU to perform calculations. Within the CPU, there are several important parts. There are the arithmetic logic unit, the ALU, the control unit, CU, and the cache. Cache as in storage cache, not the money cache. The ALU handles all arithmetic and logical operations, meaning all the math calculations and logical operations are handled by the ALU, and the control unit directs the operation of the processor, meaning you can view the CU or the control unit as the brain of the CPU. It is the brain of the brain. The cache is a small and fast memory where frequently used data are stored within the CPU chip itself, and when you run a program, the CPU fetches instructions from your computer's memory, decodes them to understand what needs to be done, and then executes those instructions. This process is repeated billions of times per second. Now, modern CPUs often have multiple cores. A core is like an individual processing unit within the CPU. Having multiple cores allows a CPU to handle more tasks simultaneously, meaning multitasking. Apart from multitasking, it can also significantly boost performance for demanding applications like video editing, gaming, creative workloads, and more. The CPU that I'm currently running in my PC is the AMD Ryzen 7 5800X with 8 cores and 16 threads running at speeds up to 4.7 GHz. Modern productivity software nowadays require at least 4 cores running at decent speeds. With higher demanding workloads like gaming or video editing and creative work, demanding more cores at high speeds. An 8-core multi-threaded CPU like the one that I'm currently running is a sweet spot for price to performance ratio at the time of my purchase for my exact workload, which is mostly video production and gaming, and some entertainment multitasking as well. So we mentioned multi-threading. So what does multi-thread mean? Multi-threaded CPU has double the amount of threads relative to the amount of its core count. For example, my Ryzen 7 5800X has 8 cores, double the amount of threads, meaning it has 16 threads. Meaning a typical non-multi-threaded CPU has only 1 thread per core. So if it's non-multi-threaded, an 8-core CPU would have 8 threads. I don't know why I'm doing this. And a multi-threaded CPU, like the one I'm using, has 8 cores and 16 threads, which it is built in a way that one core has 2 threads assigned to it. When the CPU is under a load, the thread feeds the core instructions one at a time, because the core can only execute one instruction at a time. So the thread can also only feed one instruction at a time to the core. With a non-multi-threaded CPU, a core has only 1 thread to it. So during a load, the core has more idle time, as there are situations where the core can can be done executing one instruction while the thread is unable to feed the core new instructions fast enough. So the core has to wait for the thread to be done and wait for the thread to send it new instructions to execute. This leads to more idle time on the core and of course leads to potential wasted performance. With a multi-threaded CPU, a core's idle time is reduced as there are 2 threads assigned to each core, and this allows 2 threads to spread out the load of feeding the instructions to the core, and the core constantly gets new instructions to execute. With 2 threads feeding the core, the idle times are reduced and the performance is increased as the core has to do more work and the idle times are reduced. Modern PCs nowadays, no matter desktops or laptops, use a multi-threaded CPU. Typically, you can only find a non-multi-threaded CPU on extremely low-end machines, as multi-threaded CPUs has come down in cost so much that non-multi-threaded CPU is becoming more and more obsolete in the market. So as said in the previous video, the CPU requires a cooling solution as it generates heat when running. The faster the CPU runs, the more heat it will generate. The CPU will slow down its speeds to protect itself from its own heat. This scenario is known as thermal throttling. When thermal throttling happens, this slows down the CPU and in turn the PC loses its performance. An appropriate cooling solution is needed to cool down the CPU while it is running intensive work to maintain the CPU's performance. As I said just now, the more powerful the CPU, the more heat it will generate. And in turn, the more powerful the cooling solution it requires. So my Ryzen 7 5800X is rated at a cooling recommendation of 105 watts TDP with the default specs. Of course, the cooling solution can be higher than the recommended cooling needs, just to have more headroom for the CPU to cool down. Most of the people, including myself, would generally recommend a cooling solution rated higher than what your CPU is rated for. For example, my Ryzen 7 5800X is rated at 105 watts for cooling, and the cooler that I use is capable of cooling up to, I believe, 200 watts of capacity of cooling, if I'm not mistaken. Of course, with a cooling solution rated at higher than what your CPU is rated at, allows for more room for overclocking as well. It is pretty much a requirement for overclocking. Overclocking is another topic that we can discuss on another video. If you're interested, please comment down in the comment section down below. So in summary, the CPU is a critical component that determines how fast and efficiently your computer can execute tasks. It's the powerhouse that keeps everything running smoothly. Whether you're building your own PC or buying a pre-built PC or a laptop, the CPU is a critical component to consider with your budget along with your workflow, as it is one of the core components that determines the overall performance of the PC. Thanks for watching until the end of this video, and if you're interested, the buyer's guide on how to choose a CPU for your own PC, whether you're building your own or buying a pre-built, you have to choose your own CPU. If you need a guide on that, I'm planning on making that video as well. So if you're interested, please leave a like and subscribe to this channel and turn on notifications whenever I upload new content. I hope this video has helped you understand what a CPU is a bit more than you already have. And if you enjoyed this video, or if this video has helped you in any way at all, please leave a like and subscribe to Crippled Tech for more tech content coming right at you. Turn on the notification bell to get notified whenever I upload any new content or post. Thanks again for watching. This is Nicholas signing off. I'll see you in the next one. Ja, mata ne!